The peaceful colony far away from the center of the galaxy, there was a small planet called New Terra. It looked like a simple farming colony. Green fields stretched as far as the eye could see. Tall trees surrounded small towns, and the air smelled fresh and clean. There were no big cities, no starports, and no warships in the sky. The people here grew crops, raised animals, and lived simple, quiet lives. The people of New Terra looked like normal humans. They wore simple clothes, worked in the fields during the day, and gathered with their families at night. The colony didn't have much technology. The only machines were farming tools and water pumps. Visitors who came here saw nothing special. It was just another human world, far from the problems of the galaxy. But no one knew the truth. Deep underground, far beneath the fields and villages, there was a secret. Hidden tunnels stretched for miles, connecting secret bunkers and advanced defense systems. Powerful weapons were hidden beneath fake storage barns and old-looking homes. Everything on the surface was a disguise. New Terra was not just a farm. It was a trap. The Terran Defense Command had planned this for years. They knew that one day, a powerful enemy would come. Humanity had faced many enemies before. Some tried to enslave them. Others tried to destroy them. But humans always survived, always fought back. This time, they would be ready. The enemy was known as the Voltrax Dominion. The Voltrax were a ruthless alien empire. They believed they were the strongest race in the galaxy. They destroyed planets, took slaves, and crushed any world that refused to bow to them. Their warships were fast and deadly, and their soldiers showed no mercy. When the Voltrax fleet discovered New Terra, they thought it was easy prey. There. Scanners showed no defense systems, no fighter ships, and no heavy weapons. Just farms, homes, and weak humans. The Voltrax commander, a cruel alien named Commander Zorvek, laughed when he saw the planet. He called it a gift, a soft world that would fall without a fight. Commander Zorvak ordered his fleet to jump to New Terra. Burn the fields, take the people, and make them slaves, he told his officers. The Voltrax ships arrived in the sky, above New Terra, within minutes. Dark, sharp-looking warships floated above the clouds, blocking out the sun. The people in the villages looked up, pretending to be scared. Some even screamed and ran into their homes. Just as they had practiced, the colony sent a message to the Voltrax ships, begging for mercy. Please don't hurt us. We are farmers. We have no weapons. We will surrender, the message said. Commander Zorvik smiled. He believed the humans were weak. He ordered his troops to land and take the planet. But miles below the ground, a soldier named Captain Reed was watching. He sat in a hidden command center deep under the largest barn. In the colony, screens showed the enemy ships moving into position. Reed turned to his team and spoke in a calm voice. They've taken the bait. Lock down the surface. Activate all systems. Nobody moves until my order. The team of human soldiers around him nodded. They wore simple farming clothes, but now they reached for advanced weapons stored inside the walls. Hidden turrets unfolded from underground silos. Energy shields powered up. Automated drones rose from hidden pits, their guns ready. On the surface, the first Voltrax dropships landed in open fields. The alien soldiers stepped out, their tall, armored bodies gleaming in the light. They carried plasma rifles and war, helmets shaped like skulls. They looked around and saw nothing but grass, trees, and small farmhouses. Search the area, one alien officer ordered. Find the humans and bring them to me. The Voltrax spread out, moving between the fields and buildings. But something wasn't right. The ground felt strange. The wind was too quiet. The birds had vanished. The air smelled like something was about to happen. Then, one of the alien soldiers noticed a small blinking light on the ground. Before he could shout a warning, the earth beneath him opened up, and a hidden turret shot him through the chest. The other Voltrax turned in shock, but it was too late. Across the colony, hidden weapons came alive. Energy beams fired from trees. Explosive mines under the dirt blew apart squads of enemy troops. From underground tunnels, human soldiers in battle armor burst out, firing advanced rifles. The peaceful colony was gone. In its place was a deadly battlefield. Captain Reed gave the final order. Seal the exits. No one leaves this planet alive. The battle had begun. The first strike the moment Captain Reed gave the order. The quiet farming colony changed into a battlefield. Everything the Voltrax soldiers believed about this world was a lie. The soft dirt beneath their boots was wired with explosives. The calm trees held hidden turrets, and the simple barns were filled with human soldiers armed with deadly weapons. The first shot came from a turret, disguised as a scarecrow. A thin beam of blue energy struck one Voltrax soldier in the chest, burning a hole straight through his armor. The alien fell before he even realized what happened. The other Voltrax spun around, their plasma rifles raised, searching for the source of the attack. But the weapon had already dropped back into the ground, leaving only smoke behind. Panic spread through the Voltrax ranks. Enemy weapons detected. It's a trap. One alien shouted, but his words were cut short as an energy bolt slammed into his helmet, knocking him down. In seconds, the peaceful fields were filled with fire and smoke. Hidden mines exploded under groups of Voltrax soldiers, sending them flying through the air. High above, the warships in orbit detected the sudden fighting and sent warnings to Commander Zorvik. What is happening down there? Zorvik roared. From his command chair, his officers checked the battle reports, their faces pale with fear. Sir, it's an ambush. The humans have heavy weapons. We were tricked. Zorvik slammed his fist onto the control panel. Send reinforcements. Crush them all. Back on the surface, Captain Reed moved through the underground tunnels, giving orders to his team. Activate the defense grids in Sector 3. Seal the east entrance. Keep them boxed in. His soldiers worked quickly, switching on automated turrets hidden beneath the ground. The turrets rose from the earth and began firing energy bolts at the Voltrax troops caught in the open. The aliens tried to fight back, but their scanners were useless. Every building, every rock, and every tree seemed to hold a hidden weapon out in one field. A group of Voltrax soldiers tried to take cover behind a wooden fence. They didn't know the fence was wired with charges. A human soldier named Private Lynn pressed a button on her wrist device, and the entire fence exploded, taking the aliens with it. Lynn grinned and spoke into her comb. Target down. Area clear. Good work, Captain Reed replied. Keep moving. Don't give them a chance to regroup. The humans were outnumbered, but they had the advantage. They knew the land, the traps, and the tunnels. The Voltrax soldiers were confused, lost in a maze of death. Every path led to another ambush. Above the clouds, the Voltrax warships prepared to launch an orbital strike. They aimed their cannons at the colony, ready to burn it all. But just as they prepared to fire, dozens of human drones burst from hidden silos, flying straight toward the ships. Sir, incoming targets. One Voltrax officer shouted. Zorvik's eyes widened as the drones exploded against his ships, disabling their cannons and engines. Systems failed, and fire broke out inside the ships. How is this possible? Zorvik growled. It was supposed to be a farming world. On the ground, Captain Reed's team kept pushing forward. More human soldiers joined the fight, rising from underground bunkers and hidden doors. Some drove small attack vehicles armed with laser cannons. Others carried portable shields, blocking enemy fire as they advanced. A group of Voltrax officers tried to regroup near a large tree, but a sniper shot from a hidden cliff picked them off one by one. The alien soldiers were brave, but they weren't prepared for this kind of fight. Private Lynn's voice came through the comm again. "Sir, East Valley secured. No survivors." "Good," Reed said. "Prepare for final phase." The humans were moving fast. Every second counted. They knew the Voltrax fleet would try to pull back and escape. They couldn't let that happen. The plan was simple. Trap them, crush them, and send a message to the rest of the galaxy. As smoke filled the sky, and the screams of battle echoed through the fields, the humans showed no mercy. This was their home, and no invader would leave. Alive. Captain Reed looked at the timer on his wrist device. It read 6 minutes since the battle began. 3 minutes left, he whispered. "Let's finish this." The escape attempt. The battlefield was covered in smoke and fire. The quiet farming colony had become a deadly trap, and the Voltrax soldiers were falling fast. Every step they took was dangerous. Mines exploded under their feet, hidden turrets fired from trees, and human soldiers moved through underground tunnels, attacking from every side. Commander Zorvac watched the battle reports on his ship's main screen. His face twisted with anger. Red warning lights flashed around him. His officers shouted about heavy losses. The humans were everywhere. "We underestimated them," one officer said, his voice shaking. Zorvac slammed his hand against the table. "Cowards, pull the ground troops back to the ships. We'll leave this cursed planet. Prepare the fleet for escape." The officer hesitated. "But the landing ships are being destroyed. We might not get them out in time." Zorvac's eyes burned with rage. "Do it now. I will not lose my entire fleet to a group of farmers." Down on the planet, the surviving Voltrax soldiers heard the retreat order through their comm devices. The battlefield had become a nightmare. They were trained warriors, but nothing had prepared them for this. A Voltrax captain named Vorik shouted to his remaining troops, "Fall back to the dropships. Move now." The Voltrax soldiers ran through burning fields and past destroyed homes. Explosions shook the ground, and laser fire cut through the smoke. Many of them didn't make it. Hidden drones followed their path, firing small missiles at those trying to escape. From the hidden command center, Captain Reed watched the Voltrax retreat with cold eyes. His team stood beside him, weapons ready. "They're trying to run," Private Lynn said. Reed nodded. "Let them try. Activate Phase 3. One of the officers tapped a screen, and new commands were sent across the colony. More hidden weapons rose from the ground. Anti-air cannons locked onto the escaping dropships. Automated drones flew up into the sky, hunting down any Voltrax trying to reach their fleet. The first dropship took off from the field, its engines burning bright. For a moment, it looked like it might make it. Then a laser cannon hidden inside. A hillside fired, striking the ship's rear engine. The dropship exploded in midair, raining fire and metal across the battlefield. Voltrax soldiers screamed in fear. The escape routes were Deathtrap's 2 in the command center. Reed checked the timer. 7 minutes, 20 seconds. "Almost there," he said quietly. More dropships tried to lift off, but the humans were ready. Energy beams cut them down. Explosives set in the landing zones tore apart the ships before they could leave the ground. Commander Zorvac's warships in orbit prepared to jump to safety. Their engines powered up, and their weapons locked onto the planet one last time. Zorvac wanted to wipe out everything before he left. "Prepare to fire orbital cannons," he shouted, but before they could launch the attack, the sky above knew. Terra shimmered. From behind the planet's shadow, a small fleet of Terran warships appeared. These ships had been hidden there the whole time, waiting for this moment. On the bridge of the human flagship, Admiral Corrin gave the order. Open. Fire. Beams of blue light shot through space, striking the Voltrax warships. Their shields failed almost instantly. Explosions lit up the sky as the human ships tore through the enemy fleet. Zorvak's ship shook violently as alarms screamed around him. Shields down, engines failing. His officer cried. Zorvak's face twisted in horror. No, it can't. And like this, one by one, the Voltrax warships exploded. Pieces of burning debris fell toward New Terra's surface. The battle was over. Back on the ground, the last of the Voltrax soldiers were either dead or captured. Human troops moved through the fields, clearing out the remaining enemies. The air was filled with smoke, fire, and the sound of victory. Captain Reed walked out of the command center and looked at the battlefield. His uniform was dusty, his face streaked with dirt, but his eyes were calm. Private Lynn joined him. It's over, sir. Reed checked his timer one last time. 9 minutes exactly. He smiled. We told them it was just a farm. The final message, the smoke still hung in the air above New Terra. Fires burned in the fields where crops had once grown. Broken alien weapons lay scattered across the dirt. The once green colony now looked like a war zone, but the battle was finished. Human. Soldiers moved carefully through the wreckage. They checked every building and cleared out the last of the Voltrax weapons. Drones hovered in the sky, scanning for any hidden enemies. It was quiet now. Too quiet. Captain Reed stood near the remains of a Voltrax dropship. The giant machine was half buried in the dirt, its engines still smoldering. Reed held his helmet under his arm and watched the smoke rise. Private Lynn approached, wiping blood from a cut on her cheek. No more contacts, sir. We've cleared the entire valley. Reed nodded. Good. Get the wounded to the med bays. And tell the engineering teams to start repairs. I want this place cleaned up by nightfall. Lynn hesitated. What about the message, sir? Reed looked up at the sky. The debris of the Voltrax warships still floated in orbit, pieces of burning metal streaking down through the clouds like falling stars. It's time, he said. Inside the underground command center, technicians worked fast. Screens showed live feeds from orbit, from the battlefield, and from nearby human colonies. A large transmission device powered up, humming with energy. Admiral Corrin appeared on one of the main screens from his warship above. Captain Reed, the Admiral, sighed. Is your side secure? All clear, sir, Reed replied. No survivors on their side. Corrin's face was grim. Then let's send our message. Technicians opened a secure channel. The signal would reach every corner of the galaxy. Every empire, every colony, every ship would hear it. Reed stepped up to the console and spoke into the mic. To the Voltrax Dominion, and to anyone else watching. This was New Terra. You thought it was a simple farm. You thought we were weak. In 9 minutes, we ended your fleet, your soldiers, and your pride. He paused, letting the words settle. This is your only warning. Stay out of human space. If you come again, we won't just destroy your fleet. We'll erase your worlds. The message ended, and the channel cut off. For a moment, there was silence in the room. Then, one of the soldiers let out a low whistle. That ought to get their attention. Reed turned to Lynn. Prepare the evacuation teams. We won't stay here long. She raised an eyebrow. We won, sir. Why leave now? Reed's face hardened. Because this was just the first wave. There's always a second. And next time, it won't be just the Voltrax. The galaxy just saw what we did here. Some will be afraid, some will be angry, and some will come looking for revenge. Lynn nodded slowly. Understood. As the humans gathered their equipment and treated the wounded, new signals appeared on the scanners. Ships from nearby human colonies were arriving, not to fight, but to help. Cargo ships carried medical supplies. Engineering teams came to rebuild the colony. Within hours, the broken fields would be green again. New homes would rise where the battle had been fought. And though the scars of the fight remained, New Terra would live dot above. Admiral Corrin's fleet stayed in orbit, guarding the planet. On the bridge of his flagship, Corrin watched the stars. One of his officers stepped forward. "Sir, we're receiving messages from several alien governments. Some want peace talks, others are calling us dangerous." Corrin smiled coldly. "Good, let them talk. We just showed them that humanity isn't a prey species. We never were." But deep in the darkness of space, beyond the edge of known territory, something else was watching. A ship, cloaked and silent, recorded the battle's final moments. Its captain, an alien with pale skin and golden eyes, turned to his crew. "Prepare a report for the High Council," he said. "The humans are more dangerous than we believed. If they could turn a farming colony into a death trap, imagine what their homeworld can do." The ship vanished into the stars back on New Terra. Captain Reed stood alone by a small tree on the edge of the battlefield. He looked down at the dirt, thinking of the price they had paid Dot. He knew this was only the beginning. The hidden enemy far beyond New Terra, past broken star systems and ancient battlefields, a silent ship drifted through deep space. Its hull was black as night, blending perfectly with the darkness around it. No one in the galaxy knew it was there. No scanners could find it. It was built for one purpose: to watch. Inside the ship, strange alien figures moved through dimly lit corridors. They wore long, dark robes and spoke in a language older than most known worlds. Their skin was pale, their eyes glowing softly like gold. This was a vessel of the Joran Collective, an ancient and secretive empire that rarely showed itself. On the command bridge, Commander Yavrex, the ship's leader, stood before a large screen, showing the final battle over New Terra. He watched the Terran warships destroy the Voltrax fleet. He saw the ground troops turn the farming world into a death trap. And he heard the humans' final message: "Stay out of human space. If you come again, we'll erase your worlds." Yavrex's eyes narrowed. He turned to his officers. "They've grown too bold. The humans have become a threat to balance. We can no longer watch from the shadows." His second officer, a tall female alien named Shira, stepped forward. "Should we alert the High Council?" Yavrex nodded. "Prepare the message. The humans are no longer prey. They are a predator." Back on New Terra, the humans were still cleaning up the battlefield. Soldiers gathered wreckage and disabled the remaining Voltrax machines. Drones swept the fields, collecting broken weapons. The fires had been put out, but the scars on the land remained. Captain Reed stood near the colony's main building, speaking with Admiral Corrin through a portable screen. "We'll rebuild," Reed said. "But this won't be the last attack." "I can feel it," Corrin agreed. "You're right. I've already ordered reinforcements for nearby colonies. Every outpost, every station, every fleet is on high alert." Reed glanced up at the sky. "What about the rest of the galaxy?" "They'll be watching now." "They already are," Corrin replied grimly. But what neither of them knew was that another danger was already moving far from human space, on the Ole. Joran homeworld. The High Council of the Joran Collective gathered inside a vast chamber lit by blue fire. The council members sat in tall chairs made of black stone, their faces hidden in shadow. Yavrex's message played on a large screen before them. They watched as human ships burned the Voltrax fleet. They saw Captain Reed's speech. They noted the exact time it took, 9 minutes. When the recording ended, a low voice spoke from the shadows. "They're advancing faster than expected. The Terran species was supposed to remain primitive, scattered and fearful. Another council member answered, "They've become too dangerous. They've learned how to turn traps into weapons and war into warnings." The leader of the council, an ancient Joran named Valkyr, leaned forward. "Then it's time. Activate the silent order." Gasps filled the chamber. Even among the Joran, the silent order was a secret. A group of elite assassins, spies, and hunters trained to remove threats before wars even began. "Send them to Terran space," Valkyr commanded. "Watch their leaders. Test their defenses. Learn their weaknesses. And when the time is right, strike." The council agreed. Back on New Terra. Night had fallen. The colony was quiet again. The human soldiers rested, though many kept their weapons close. Captain Reed sat alone at a small table outside the command center, sipping a cup of cold water. The stars above looked peaceful, but Reed knew better. Private Lynn approached. "Can't sleep either?" The last stand, the days after the battle on New Terra, passed in uneasy silence. The fires were out, the wreckage cleared, and the field slowly began to heal. But the humans who lived there knew peace was only an illusion. The Voltrax were gone, but something worse was coming. Captain Reed spent every night walking the colony's edges, staring at the stars. He felt it, a presence in the dark. The same uneasy feeling in his chest wouldn't leave him alone. He trusted his instincts. They had saved him before. Late one night, the warning finally came. A nearby human outpost, just a few systems away, sent out a distress signal. It lasted only 5 seconds before it cut off. The message was simple. They're here. Reed was in the command center when it happened. He stared at the screen, his jaw tight. Who sent it? He asked. Private Lynn checked the logs. "Outpost 17, sir." No response after that. They just vanished. Admiral Corrin's face appeared on the main screen. His expression was dark. "Reed, we're detecting unknown ships moving fast through our outer colonies. They don't match Voltrax designs. No one's seen anything like them." Reed knew. Deep inside, he already knew. "It's them?" he said. "Whoever was watching during the battle. They're making their move." Corrin gave a sharp nod. "We're sending a strike fleet to New Terra. Hold your ground until then." Reed didn't waste time. He called every soldier, every engineer, every pilot. The colony's defenses had been rebuilt after the Voltrax attack, but this enemy was different, smarter, quieter, deadlier. "Listen up," Reed told them. "We're about to be tested again. And this time, it won't be loud ships in the sky. It'll be shadows in the dark. Stay sharp. Stay together. And remember, this is our home." The colony fell into tense silence as night fell. Then, without warning, the attack began. The lights in the colony flickered and died. The scanners failed. The air grew cold, and a thick, unnatural mist rolled in from the forest edges. Shadows moved within the fog, too fast for the human eye. A soldier screamed. A second later, he was gone. Captain Reed grabbed his rifle. Positions. Defensive grid, full lockdown. The colony's hidden turrets turned on, their lights cutting through the mist. Drones rose into the air, scanning for targets. But whatever was moving in the darkness stayed just out of reach. Private Lynn fired at a flicker of motion, hitting nothing. "What are they?" Then a shape appeared. Tall, cloaked in black, its pale face expressionless, golden eyes glowing in the mist. It moved like a ghost, silent and deadly. Reed fired. The shot struck the figure, but it vanished into smoke. More shapes appeared, surrounding the colony. These were the Silent Order, elite assassins of the Joran Collective. They didn't fight like soldiers. They hunted like predators. Human troops fought back fiercely. Energy beams lit up the night. Drones fired missiles into the mist. The ground shook with explosions. But for every assassin they killed, another seemed to take its. Placed at the command center, Reed activated a final measure, the Oblivion Beacon. It was a last resort device designed to overload the colony's power grid and release an energy pulse strong enough to disable anything nearby. He spoke into his comm. "This is it. All units, fall back to the inner circle. When I give the word, we detonate the beacon." Private Lin's voice came through. "Steady. Understood, sir. We'll hold the line." The battle grew worse. Human soldiers fought back to back. Some fell, but none ran. Every corner of the colony became a battleground. The Joran assassins moved like shadows, but even shadows could bleed. Reed checked the timer. The reinforcement. Fleet was still 5 minutes away. They wouldn't make it in time. "Do it," he ordered. The Oblivion Beacon activated, sending out a shockwave of white-blue energy. The mist burned away. The assassins screamed as their bodies dissolved into ash. The pulse spread for miles, clearing the colony of the enemy. Then silence. Reed stood in the center of the ruined field. Smoke drifted in the air, and the surviving? Soldiers gathered around him. Private Lin limped to his side. "We did it." Reed looked at the sky. "We bought time." Moments later, Admiral Corrin's fleet arrived, filling the sky with Terran warships. The colony was safe, for now, but one thing was clear. Humanity was no longer fighting for survival. They were fighting for dominance, and the galaxy would learn once again that humans never back down. Reed shook his head. "No, something feels wrong, like we're being watched." She sat beside him. "You think they'll come back?" "They always come back," Reed said softly. "But this time, it won't be the Voltrax." In the darkness of space, the Joran Silent Order was already on the move. Their ships, fast and silent, crossed the void between worlds, invisible to all scanners. Their mission was clear. Observe. Learn. Eliminate. And New Terra would be their first target.